Hello and welcome to your first introduction to Inkscape. Now, you can download Inkscape free of charge and it works on most systems. The idea is this is what we call a vector tool. We can draw vector images. I'll explain a bit about them in a second. If you don't see the same tool layout as me, i.e. this row here with that nice capital T on the top, please go to View and click on Default. Okay. And you then, when you run your Inkscape, you should see the same as I see. Now, talk about what a vector package is. Right, well, down here I have two images. One of them is vector. Just to prove it's a vector, I can even change it. Okay. And one is a bitmap. Now, if I zoom in, I'm going to zoom in just to this area here, you'll see the difference between them. As I zoom in, you can see that the top, the vector, stays crisp and sharp, whereas the bitmap is starting to look a bit fuzzy. Now the reason for that is a bitmap image is made up of lots of small squares of different colours and shades, whereas a vector is made of a set of instructions saying how to draw that image. Therefore, every time I move around or zoom, the top, the vector, is redrawn using the instructions, where at the bottom it can't be redrawn, it's already been drawn once and converted into these square blocks, and that's it. So a vector is a very handy package if you want to manipulate, change, modify images. Whereas a bitmap is nice and steady and static, and it doesn't need a program like Inkscape to run. However, when you zoom in, you start to lose quality. So that is the difference between a vector and a bitmap, and you are using a vector package here. I'm going to delete the bitmap one. I'm going to delete the vector one now. So, a quick starter task. So what I would like you to do is on the left hand side, down here, using a left click, and then click somewhere on the screen. By the way, to zoom in and out, you use the mouse wheel and hold the control key at the same time. So by holding the control key with a finger on the keyboard and using the mouse wheel to move up and down on the mouse wheel, that's the wheel on top of your mouse, I can zoom in and out around wherever the cursor is. Okay, there we go. Now, so I've clicked on the A, I've typed there. You'll notice at the top here, it's already giving me some options. These options will change depending on what I click here. So I'm going to type in my name. I'd like you to type in your name. Right, once you've done that, you can try changing some of the options here. You can see any font that's stored in the computer will come out there, and you could go to all sorts of them and have fun. However, a better way of doing it is if you look at the top here, there's this capital T. While that's clicked and while the cursor is still flashing on there, click the capital T, and it will give you a little window. And in this window, as I'm using the cursor key to scroll through these, you can see it gives me the options, and I can quickly, so I like that one, there I can go apply, quickly changes it. If I want to change the font size, I can. I need to highlight it first, here we go, 48, there you go, hit apply, I can change it that way. I can even retype the text, maybe put a full stop there. There we go. And there are other variants that we won't play with. Right, now, so that is using the A tool to type your name and the T tool to change it. As soon as you've done that, please go File, Save As, and in your My Documents. For me, now you'll notice it doesn't just give you the option of My Documents, but that top link there, if we look at it, when I click on it, it ends with that N colon. That is my Documents, and within there you'll be able to go to the right folders. So I'm going to call this my first Inkscape. So please save it. Once you've done that, you've chosen a nice font and experiment. Please experiment. You've saved it as my first Inkscape.svg. Now you don't type the .svg, by the way. If you type in .svg up there, it will save it as my first Inkscape.svg.svg. So you just type it when you save it, just my first Inkscape, like that. And make sure you're in your N drive, yeah, which is your My Documents. Okay, away you go, do that, and then watch the next video.